record on this. Okay, hello everybody. Hello seekers, as I like to call you, my audience. Three of you, all of three of you. I am today with Jacob. I'm gonna say Schwer, but I'm gonna say it hesitantly and ready to be corrected.
You're pretty close. It's Schwer, but I get all different sorts of variations of it, so I just roll with it.
Oh, it's not the worst, let's say. Mine is not the worst. I'm pretty happy with this award. So yeah, thank you, Jacob, for being with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And I'm gonna just introduce you to our audience, all three of them. So Jacob is CEO of Smiles, Funfluencer, and this is the best. This is what I like the most. Have the influencer, double the taste. I love that. And you are a squirrel, a fellow squirrel. So tell us, why did you choose to introduce yourself like this?
You know, because it's different, it's fun. You know, I've seen the usual headlines, and they're great. They're you know, purposeful, but I really just wanted to shake it up, have a little bit of fun. So I change it up, slightly tweak it every, you know, maybe 3 months or so, and do something else goofy with it.
Okay. Any headlines of other people that you kind of like caught your attention?
Nothing I can think of really off the top of my head, to be honest. Okay. You know, I know there's some people that have some really good ones, and anything that has to do that like takes me by surprise is a headline that I really like.
Right.
Like there was this one lady who was a male like fitness coach, and she said in her headline, "I make men look better naked." And so that really caught my attention, you know, things that just kind of are like, oh, wow, I didn't expect that.
And the reason why you still remember it.
Yeah,
because,
yeah, exactly.
Right. Okay, so I'm curious. I saw you were working in kind of like different online communities, but how would you kind of describe your work in these online communities?
Oh, yeah. So I'm doing all sorts of different things. I have my regular 9 to 5, which is basically just customer service, answering inquiries. But then I got involved with some different fun communities, which are based on Discord servers. And really, it's like growth challenge as far as like, you know, the social media realm goes. But then there's also different like just fun things. Like we're having like a Nintendo tournament later and one, and then we have like memes that we do on Mondays to, you know, make like custom memes and battles. So those communities are awesome, and really my part in it is just trying to make sure things go smoothly, and to answer, you know, any questions or help anyone that needs help.
Sure. Since you mentioned customer service, I'm curious, any kind of calls that kind of you still remember because they were really weird or really impactful?
I definitely get some weird things, and I can tell you I had one yesterday that's that was a little bit more than just a call, but I was handling a case, and during one of the calls I had to ask the driver, hey, what's the history look like on this vehicle? Because I was trying to determine what happened. And he told me, he's like, well, whenever it was delivered to me, it wouldn't start, the rims were bent, it needed tie rods, and it looked like someone shot at it. And so it was kind of an interesting phone call. Now, you get similar ones like that where, you know, maybe related to like an ex-employee at a company. Yeah, there's definitely some interesting calls I've had.
Wow, that's interesting. Do you need? I still didn't get to the main kind of standard question, but I'm just curious. Like, do you ever have to deal with people who are like super angry or things of that sort?
Well, my job before, I had to deal with a little bit more angry people. But here, luckily, I work with some great people, and really we have great clients. And so whenever we deal with them, it's more higher ups within a company you're dealing with as far as external customers. So they're normally a little bit more understanding. And if they're going to send anything in rage, it's going to be an email or something. But over the phone, generally, you don't have to deal with too much. They definitely come up, but they're a small percentage.
Okay, in the previous one, did you have any kind of like techniques to kind of like cool people down?
Ooh, yeah. I mean, I'm just pretty good at naturally customer service. So it's not really too difficult for me because I just try and put myself in their position. So I'm like, hey, I totally understand. And I really wish that I had the power to do something to fix it. Sometimes I'll offer what, not focus on what I can't do, but what I can do. But, hey, let me take down your number, or I'm going to go ahead and look into this for you, or yada, yada, yada. So not really necessary techniques. You just try your best to keep them happy, kind of put yourselves in their position and how they might feel. Because normally it's, coming from, a different place, and it's not really aimed at you.
Right. Okay, so let's jump into the standard questions. So yeah, this is one of my favorite questions, which is have you ever, or are you looking for something that you couldn't find or still didn't find?
That's a tricky one. The only thing that that comes to mind, I mean, a lost phone, like you couldn't find it. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. I feel like that's a deeper question, and I don't know. That's a good one though.
It can be the thing about it is like whatever comes to my mind. So some people just go something very like deep, which is like I was looking for comfort but I couldn't find it, and then some people are like I was looking for an app and I just couldn't find it.
There are those times, yeah, that you're looking for something online, you're searching for it and you just can't find it. Most things you can find in Google, right?
Yeah.
Like if I need to figure anything out, I can almost always Google it. But every now and then you run into those oddball questions where you just can't find it in Google. Right. I find that always boggles me because I'm pretty good at finding things. I tell people that at whenever I'm working with them or talking to them, it's like, if you want me to find something out, I can find something out. It's part of something I use every day. So it's not that often, but sometimes I was thinking about this earlier, is like those hidden things. A lot of the times hidden things I feel are things that you don't even know that you're looking for.
Right.
So I was I don't know, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Right. Okay, so speaking of hidden things, what are some hidden gems you have discovered in your life?
Oh, that's great. Hidden gems. I feel like I have a high, level to label something a gem, Right. There's hidden valuable things, hidden knowledge and whatnot. But I think the hidden gems, for me to classify something as a gem, I feel like majority of the time it's going to be a person.
Right.
Because I feel like anything else that you can label maybe a gem or whatnot was created by a person or was made better by a person. So I think the only hidden gems out there are going to be people.
Okay, let's talk about specific people you have found, aside from me, of course.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Well, that's part of it. There's hidden gems just all over the world. And whenever I joined LinkedIn and just started sharing on there, since that's how we met, I didn't imagine that I would meet so many great people and strangers. Like those one or two comments in the beginning that get you going from people that you've never met before. Right. They just saw what you put on the internet and they're like, hey, I like this person. and I'm going to comment. That blew my mind whenever I first joined. I was like, how is it that these strangers like appreciate me? And, you know, it gets you going. You're like, maybe I could do this again and I could meet more people, or maybe I could keep these same people happy. And that's kind of how it started for me. You know, or those hidden gems. And it's hard to put like names on different people because I have so many different people in my network that there's no way for me to remember every single person's name.
Right.
And there's just so many of them that have been, you know, big supporters and encouragers and opened up so many doors and windows and opportunities that I didn't even realize were possible.
So what was your, what were you looking for the first time you kind of joined LinkedIn and started to be active? Like, what was the intention?
It's a good question. Because I try and think back on that and I don't really remember.
Right.
My earliest memory of really enjoyment on LinkedIn is probably going to be like June of 2020. So almost 2 years ago, there was something I saw that really sparked my interest, and it got me to think, and it got me to actually comment and engage with this person on LinkedIn. Before that, I would scroll through a little bit and I would just move on with my day. I was, you know, what they call a lurker.
Right.
So I didn't comment. So that was my first spark of enjoyment on there. And then from that time, you just continue to stay on the platform and use it, and you start running into more and more things that you like. And I can't remember my very first post, like where I intentionally started, because there were times where like I would share like one post a year or whatnot, for like on a holiday randomly or something like that for like 2 years. But I just decided to hop in and I just started writing, which on any social platform, that's just not me.
Right.
But for some reason, I just felt the need to write something. And then it got reactions and I was like, okay, let me think about my workplace, you know, and I did a couple of different things kind of related to, you know, work related things like in the automotive industry. And then I really feel like I took off and just continued because I was having so much fun.
Right.
And it really had nothing to do with business. And I just I made people like laugh, and I didn't necessarily expect it. And that just gives you such an awesome feeling, and you just want to keep going. So my initial intentions for, you know, the longest time really was just to have fun, you know, and I lost focus of that for a little bit, maybe a little bit, you know, tried to use it more so like other people and, you know, more businessy, and really I just put more pressure on myself for a little bit. And so, but that's really still my number one goal, is just having fun, you know, making friends, and just having conversations. That's it for me. I'm kind of simple.
Right. I resonated in one of your comments. You said something like you're addicted to LinkedIn, and I describe myself as a LinkedIn addict. When I tell this to people, they have a hard problem. Like somebody told me, like on a forum, like I didn't know that there's such a thing as a LinkedIn addiction. When I tell people about it, they find it kind of weird. Like LinkedIn is not their idea of fun, but for me, it's kind of like super addictive. So I don't know.
Yeah.
When you tell people like about your LinkedIn life, do they feel like, oh, this is odd?
They normally just don't know.
Okay.
But you know, there's a couple people that I'll talk to in conversation outside of the LinkedIn world and tell them, oh yeah, you know, I'm on LinkedIn, and either some people are like, oh, I haven't used that account in forever, and like they just really don't even know what's going on over there. And then other people have just been like, it just like doesn't even faze them. They're just like, okay, cool, whatever.
Right.
But yeah, it becomes an addiction when you just use it so much and you catch yourself using it when you should be doing something else, you know?
Right. Okay, let's take this question. Think of someone you don't like, right? And I want you to kind of like mention everything positive about them. So like draw the most bright picture you can of this person.
Ooh. Say something nice about them?
Yeah, but they have to be like actual things that you actually believe.
Oh, yeah, that would be a little bit challenging.
Right.
You know, I'm pretty easy to get along with. There's not many people that I really dislike. I'm just really easygoing, so I can get along with just about anybody. You know, there's people that are very different personalities than me, but I can still find ways to get along with them.
Right.
But you know, there are some people that just like, if I have to think of it, I have to think of maybe the opposite of me. So maybe someone who is more boring or businessy, and you know, just like doesn't see you know, the joy in business or whatnot. So I guess one example would be, there's people like, I'm very personal, social person whenever I'm sharing, and I don't really feel the need to talk about business all the time. It's cool though. So you know, but there's people that I like, it blows my mind that they just are like they want zero personal, you know. It blows my mind that they're just like, I want to do business, I want to make business posts, this place here is solely an income stream for me. Like, that doesn't sound enjoyable at all. But the good thing about those people though, and the thing that I can respect about them, is that they do probably, you know, make good money and make good business decisions. You know, they're, you know, very solid in their thinking. And, you know, so those people, you know, if I could give them a compliment, or the best thing about them is, you know, they are very still knowledgeable, valuable people.
Right. Would you say that, speaking of that, you know, I'm thinking of my LinkedIn peeves, and one of my LinkedIn peeves is when somebody says, "This is LinkedIn, not Facebook."
Yeah.
It gets on my nerves. So what are your biggest LinkedIn peeves?
I mean, that's really just about it, just being boring. You know, some people have great ideas. It's just sometimes poor execution. You know, so that's probably my biggest pet peeve is like people that are just solely out there pushing business. Like, I mean, I get it. You got to make some money, but I already know what you do. You don't have to keep doing it over and over again. And I understand that doing that helps newer audiences that haven't seen you before, but just cycle them around. Like, if like some people, it's like, I know nothing about them. I know that they, you know, are, let's just say, in the world of finance. I know that you're, you know, in finances, but that's all that I know. Meanwhile, I have these other two finance people that I know, you know, what their dog's name is. I know what they like to do for fun. So who's going to stick out over that? In my head, I guess that's more of me kind of just, I guess that is a pet peeve, but me kind of being a little bit judgy. Because people can do whatever they want. That's the cool thing about social media. You can do whatever you want. But, you know, for me, that's probably one of my pet peeves, is just like, the boredom sometimes.
Right. It was,
I know that sounds terrible.
the question was designed to bring out the judgment out of you, because I'm asking you about your pet peeves. So I apologize as well. No, that makes sense. Yeah, I also like, yeah, I don't, in general, like I don't like policing people's behavior on, just do whatever you feel like doing, and you know, yeah,
we can give our opinions on, you know, it's just our opinion. So it's like, you can do whatever you want. If I see something that I don't like, I'm gonna move on. That, you know, right. I don't have time to argue about it or fight about anything. That's a waste of energy for everybody. Right. But, you know, we can still have our opinions, you know, and this is what I like, and that's how it works for me. And those are the people I want to be around. But, you know, and if that's what you want, then you do that.
I just want to say something, just something that's been bothering me, which is there's this theme or like, theme of LinkedIn posts complaining about flirting messages and all of that stuff. What bothers me is that when I think of it, I've never had this, like, I'm like, why am I not getting this?
Right. Yeah, that's what I've said before. I'm like, what the heck, man? Nobody's hitting on me. I just want one. Just
right. And it's like, nobody's even trying to send me stuff. I'm like, guys, I'm here. Like, one doesn't.
Right.
So yeah, if you're there on LinkedIn, please try to send me stuff. You have my inbox. You have my email.
Hit him up.
Right. I can give you my social security. I don't know how to. So yeah. Okay. So let's talk about ideal working partners. What is your ideal working partner? How do they look like? Are they different and similar from you?
That's a good question. So yeah, I think you kind of have to have a little bit of a balance of, you said ideal working partner.
Yeah.
Like someone you kind of partner up with to work with.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's going to be a mixture, kind of like not a polar opposite, but where you got like maybe 50% similarity, 50% different.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you need to balance each other out. And I'll tell you, really, the perfect example in my regular 9-to-5 job is I have like a counterpart for the region that I oversee, and he's very different than me. Like, I'm goofy, funny, silly. He's more, you know, the stern, direct approach person, and you know, he's very, like, I don't know. He's just, that's just who he is, you know. Right. And I'm kind of more bubbly, fun. But we work together really well. Because if there's anything that I'm not thinking about or missing, he's going to catch, and the vice versa, you know. So if I'm looking for someone that I'm, you know, potentially running a business with or partnering up my business with, it's going to be someone who is similar enough to where they understand the fun that comes along with me, but also maybe a little bit more, you know, business focused in, you know, the way that everything is organized and ran and everything.
Right. Now a question popped up in my mind, which is like, when did you discover that fun is like an integral value in your life?
I just have always tried to have fun. You know, I've just always kind of been the goofy, you know, pushing boundaries type of person.
Right.
I don't know if it was just an instinct. The only time that I can really think that I, you know, maybe wasn't as much the way that I am today is right around like 4th or 5th grade. I kind of broke out of my shell a little bit more. You know, right. I started getting in more trouble and everything. But before that, I was actually really a shy kid, so much that they thought something was wrong with me more. And there was probably, things wrong with me. But, you know, they're like, there's something different about him being shy. But, you know, around that time, I don't know what triggered it, what happened, but I feel like I just, you know, had a release and broke out of my shell and started, you know, being more of a people person. I'm, you know, there's still moments of me that I'm more of a quiet person. Like if we're in a group setting, talking, I'm going to chime in for sure. But sometimes I try to take a back seat sometimes, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I might be the quiet person. It's not you. It's just, I'm a better listener than I am a talker sometimes.
Right. I resonate with this a lot. I even like in the back history, like when I'm writing the story of this podcast, like I'm still calling it a podcast, even though I haven't transitioned to the podcast. But podcast seems more kind of like fancy, so I'm gonna say podcast.
Yeah, I like it. You call it whatever you want.
Right, exactly. So yeah, I was saying that, you know, a lot of people think of me like as this like extreme extrovert, and some people would just assume that I'm a very reserved, shy person. And when especially like when I was at school, like a lot of people would think of me as shy. And I think I have, you know, there's a kind of a development thing where I changed a bit, and the extroversion took more hold of me. But also at the same time, like both kind of tendencies exist within me at different contexts, in different contexts. So I completely, you know, resonate with this. And even Jocelyn, I think Jocelyn Brady was saying, I remember one of her posts, like she was saying that she was shy as a child. Even Conan O'Brien was mentioned, like he can be a bit shy in real life. Like if somebody's knocking on the door, he would be like, he wouldn't like to kind of like go and answer. And people find it hard to believe because, you know, your profession is in, you know, you're a talk show, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, these things coexist.
Have you you watched much Conan O'Brien, or did you used to watch
Addiction?
Conan O'Brien?
Addiction. It's extreme addiction. The thing is, like, I've watched. The thing is, the same clip I've watched maybe like 10, 20 times. I absolutely love his clips with Bill Burr. And his Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend with the Sonam Obsession and the Matt Gorley. I just love this guy. It's crazy how can somebody just be talking about just pencils or anything, and he's just so entertaining.
Yeah, he is just one of those naturally funny people, and I love watching him. And I don't really watch much Tonight Show things in general, and I definitely don't watch as much now, but then that was kind of like the one that I landed on, that I was like, all right, if I'm going to check one out, it's going to be this one. But it's funny because if I try to describe myself to someone, I feel like I would describe myself as Andy Richter. I think his last name's Richter.
Right.
At the Tonight on his show, that where he is just really funny, pops in whenever. But he, you know, he's not like running the show or anything like that.
Right.
He's just, you know, kind of there hanging out and chiming in whenever he gets an opportunity, and it's generally funny. He's hilarious.
Yeah, in the comment section, you always see like people saying like, Andy Richter doesn't say much, but when he says something, it's gold.
Yeah.
I feel I'm kind of like ashamed of my extensive knowledge of this of the YouTube section of Conan O'Brien. Conan, if you're listening to this, hit me up.
Right, that's hilarious.
No, it's not healthy, man. Like Conan, I really have to find something else in my life to.
Yeah, you need to join a group.
Right. Hashim needs a friend, Conan, you know. Anyways. But yeah. Okay, so this is kind of similar to what we're talking about. If you can facilitate a conversation between any two people in the world, who would you choose? And what would you ask them?
Ooh, you know, I don't know that I would pick anybody. Like, I don't know. Here's where I'm thinking. I'm thinking if I can get someone like, let's say, just for example, Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly, if I can get like two funny people or two duos just to go back and forth and provide entertainment, that's who I want to see have a conversation together. Not your general approach to maybe a question like that, but that's where my head's going.
Right. So what would you ask them? Or what would
I don't know what I would ask them. I mean, just anything. And I just feel like anything that I would ask, they would just give a ridiculous, funny response to. So it really wouldn't matter what questions that I'm really asking. Right. I might ask some serious questions, you know, maybe like, you know, how they got started, or, you know, what brought them into it. And, you know, it's probably another thing I could probably Google and find some information out about. But,
right.
you know, there's so much information out there. I feel like you can find out a lot of things like that. But that's where what I'm thinking is like, you know, just my own personal comedy show.
Right. Yeah. Sounds good. Sounds good.
Right.
Okay. So let's head to the second section, which is the custom question. So give me one bit of information that you learned that was quite helpful.
One bit of information. I have a problem with your questions. And then I'm like thinking in my head, I know I'm overthinking it, but I'm like, one bit of information.
No. Go ahead.
Just all sorts of bits of information like combined to become a large piece of information. Right. I'm a big fan of like, you know, there's every little piece, you know, it's just like one little puzzle to the life puzzle, you know. Right. And so I'm like, one bit of information. I don't know. I'm struggling.
Yeah. The reason, okay, the backstory of this question is I was thinking, because I am, you know, very intellectually inclined, and I read a lot and all of that stuff. And I was thinking like, when does theory lead to a change in, like, how do you know that a book benefited you, or how do you know that a course benefited you, or how do you change? And I started thinking like, okay, this realization, which is that it's very hard that one piece of information would kind of like change your life or have an impact. It's kind of the combination of many pieces that lead to knowledge. But at the same time, like I was like, damn, I really have to find one. This is something that I'm not sure if it's a bad thing or not, but sometimes I ask questions and I still don't have the answer for myself. So I'm like, I really have to kind of like search in my kind of brain of one time, or like something I can point to, line 23, blah, blah, blah. This thing not changed my life, led to a significant impact.
Yeah. I wish I was a better person at like making better notes and things.
Right.
Because sometimes there will be moments where I'm like, whoa, you know, like I learned something there, or, you know, something that I didn't expect that's going to help me later. And in my mind, I'm just like, cool, I'm going to remember that. But I don't like take time to like write things down to make sure that I remember. What I try to do sometimes that isn't necessarily the same, but like if I'm watching something on my phone or I see something on my phone that I'm like, cool, I really like that, I'll like screenshot it, you know, so that in my head I'll go back to it, write it down or whatever, but I never do. Right. But I try and grab it. But yeah, there's so many different things that that you can learn, and I feel like it just leads one thing to another. I don't know. I don't know. That's
right. It's a very difficult question. I don't have the
I'm gonna
answer
have to think on it. Yeah. I'll have to think on it.
After we finish, both of us will just spend like, we'll go to I'll go to the couch, you'll go to whatever you want, and then just think of it for like 1 hour straight. Like, what was
that sounds typically like me. I'm that's why I'm like, I hate job interviews. Because I always put so much pressure on myself to like find the perfect answer. And you know, that's why I'm like, I'm never on any podcasts or live streams. I've been on like maybe one, just because you know, I struggle with finding the right words or thinking in the moment.
Right.
But I think that's all just pressure that I put on myself, because sometimes you don't have the answer.
Right. You know? And it's perfectly natural to kind of say, I don't know. I wish this is the most underrated sentence in history. I don't know. I wish people use it more often. I think I should get a t-shirt and it says just, I don't know.
Right.
Oh yeah, I was saying, and then what happens in conversations is that all the good points come after we finish. It's like, I wish I had said this. Like, I would have given it right. So after you finish, just record yourself and you're getting all of the Eureka moments.
Yeah.
Okay. What is your biggest fear in regards to content creation?
Ooh. Biggest fear. I mean, always the biggest fear in the back of my mind. And it's something that you're always continuing to learn is that, like, what if it's not good enough? You know, what if you don't get the reactions that you want? What if people don't like it? What if people disagree with it? What if I make a fool of myself? You know, a lot
Right.
of just like what ifs that kind of that really just more so hold you back from creating. Because once you get rolling and you just start going and throwing things out there, I mean, it's a good time. You just have to understand that, you know, people are people, and think you can't predict the future. There's things you can do to make yourself better over time. But like I always tell people, if you're just starting, you're just gonna have to be bad first.
Right.
You know, it's almost like, you know, failing, you know, not to say that really posting or any post that can really be a complete failure. And I'm not saying to judge it based off of engagement or whatnot. But just whenever you start, just if you almost like set that expectation of nothing, just that's going to help, because just put yourself out there. And if you can make your one person happy, which is yourself happy, then you're going to be good to go. And what holds me back though sometimes is that, you know, I've been doing this for a while now. And so now for me, I'm like, man, what if I have something that does bad? Like, you start to look at your past posts and be like, oh, I got 100 likes, 70 likes, 50 likes. You're like, okay, so that means that on this post, I really need to get like 100 likes or whatnot to be successful, right? It's not true. You know, things bounce all over the place, and some people get more engagement and things because they spend a whole lot more time. And that was a problem for me, is because I became addicted. I'm like, oh, the more time I spend on this app, the better that I'm going to do. But you get to a certain point where you're spending too much time. You're not, you know, you're just chasing after things that are meaningless. Meanwhile, while you have your family around you, and that's such a struggle. It's like you need to limit some of your time, and if that means that you're not going to do as well, then, you know, so be it. But that's a long way to answer your question. That, you know, my biggest fear would be is just, you know, disappointment, you know, disappointing the people around me, you know?
Right. Yeah. Okay, so I want you now to guess what is two guesses. Number one is, what is my biggest fear in terms of content creation in general, and what is my what is my insecurity about this podcast, the title of this podcast, Untitled Questions with Hash.
I think your biggest fear, just off the top of my head, is maybe sounding dumb or sounding not smart, or maybe offending someone. Okay.
And the podcast name.
Say the podcast name one more time.
You know, it's called Not Your Typical Questions with Hashim. What do you think is my insecurity about the title?
That it's too long?
No.
Or that it has your name in it?
Okay, that's one. Yeah, that's one. It might sound egocentric, too egocentric. But actually, I was kind of like quite insecure, or I was worried that people would see the questions and say, but these are actually like kind of very typical questions. So why did you call it Not Your Typical Question? Like it's it's like, so you're glamorizing it too much.
Yeah, you know, I don't think now I've listened to 5-6 different podcasts and whatnot, and I don't listen to many podcasts though, so I might not be the best judge, but like I couldn't tell you the title of any of their podcasts. I just know I have it pinned, I have it saved, I know the people's names because, you know, the people that I know and I like, but
Right.
the podcast name or the title of the live stream or anything like that, I don't remember. So I think honestly, probably something you're overthinking again.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
just to give you direct feedback, you know.
Right. Right.
Because I think really what people are going to remember is going to be you.
Right.
You know, I think they're going to see your face pop up or your name pop up, and they're going to be like, I'm going to tune in because it's him. You know, all three of them are going to tune in because.
Right. Shout out to my mom. Right.
Yeah. Hey, my mom might tune in this one too, so we might have 4.
So, okay, so in terms of content creation in general, my morbid fear is to say something that is proven to be inaccurate or false. Yeah, that's why I always like if you analyze the way I write, it's all like maybes and perhaps and I don't know.
I am very much that way. I am very much a maybe or probably, possibly, could be. Like, I'm never giving like 100% definite. I'm like, you know, these are just my opinions, or, you know, I'll say something. If I do say something like confidently, that's what I'll put after. I'll be like, but, you know, that's just what I think. You know, I could be wrong. It happens. You know, sometimes you change your mind on a different, you know, subject or whatnot. You just, you know, feel like you're going a different way.
That scares me a lot. That this was that if I like post some, that's why I don't do like posts where like I'm advocating for something or like taking strong stances, because I'm very afraid of the idea of, you know, can change your mind easily and you can be proven wrong easily. So if you are afraid of this phenomenon, stick to my style and Jacob's style of just writing nonsense, because nobody is gonna say it can't be proven wrong.
Yeah, you know, I'll throw some things out there, but really it's just like, I feel like we shouldn't have to preface it, but, you know, just everything, a lot of things are just kind of our opinions based off of the knowledge that we have at that time, you know.
Right.
It's, you know, people make mistakes, you know. You know, they think some things, and I've mentioned it before to people, and they have some super smart explanation that I don't care about response to it. Right. But I always tell people, you know, like, remember when Pluto was a planet, you know?
Right.
And then they're like, well, it really was, or blah, 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 blah. All right, listen, whenever I was in school, I learned, yo, it's a planet, and sometimes it switches places with Neptune ever so often. And that should have been their first sign that probably not a planet. But they're like, so that's what I say about, like, even scientists, you know, pretty much are in that category of saying that, and they change their mind. You know, like, it happens. You know, you make the smallest miscalculation, or you know, trust in something, and it happens. So that's, you know, you got to take a lot of things with face value, but understand that whenever I did say it, you know, it came with the grace of intention. So we probably hold ourselves back too much, honestly. But I do enjoy just being a goofball anyways. You know, if you have, you know, questions, you know, get me on a podcast or something.
Right. Yeah. That's actually like one of the criticisms my friends level is such a formal word, but I'm going to use it because I like fancy words. I feel like when I use fancy words, I feel like I'm an important person, so I'm going to use fancy words. My friends level against me. Qusay, if you're hearing this, shout out to you as well. Yeah, that I have to kind of like, I'm taking this idea of being, you know, careful with claims too much. Like, I just should, you know, take an opinion and be just open to the idea of being, you know, mistaken. But anyways, all right, let's go to the next question. Strangest message you've ever received or sent?
I mean, I've sent some pretty strange messages sometimes. They're more just off the wall. I like to catch people by surprise. Like, if I can just surprise you, send you something you're not expecting, then I'm cool with it. Some people expect it because they, you know, see how strange I am already. So they kind of expect some of it, but I can't think of an example there. But every now and then I receive just random like hellos or, you know, anybody can message me. I'm not the greatest at messaging back, honestly. As you know, it's taken, you know, three months or so to get on this show finally,
right.
but persistence pays off. I'm telling you. And you do it the perfect way too. I mean, because some people just, you know, assume that I, you know, don't like them or whatnot. It's not that. Yeah. I just you know, I have my if I had just like one social media account or one form of communication, yeah, you know, my bad. But you know, you got messages here, messages on all like different types of platforms. I have like 3 different emails. You know, text. It's not just LinkedIn. I mean, it's just a struggle sometimes to remember because in my head I reply, but then I don't.
Right.
You know, I'm one of those people that, you know, you're in line at the drive-through and then you're just, you know, checking messages. All of a sudden you got to go and then you move on. It happens. And right. You know, like we said, we're all just busy. So, you know, just trying to figure out, all right, let me put this on the calendar and make sure that I actually show up. Because the worst thing that could ever happen to me is really if I set something on a calendar and then I don't show up. Right. Like that would be like a huge fear for me. So I'm always hesitant on setting meetings like too far out because I'm like, oh shoot, even though it's in my calendar, I'm gonna forget. Right. And like so the funny thing is though, is whenever you messaged me yesterday, I had forgotten because it wasn't on my calendar. I was looking through my calendar trying to figure out what date it was on. And somehow whenever I accepted it, it didn't send it to my correct calendar, which like never happens. I normally get like 2 alerts for my calendars and it didn't show up. I was like, oh crap. So I'm glad that you messaged me there and moving the time. I was like, cool, that works even better for me. But I don't remember where did we go? Oh, strangest message. Right. I totally forgot what we were talking about there for a second. Yeah, some people just, you know, there's that. I don't really get a whole lot of weird messages or strange messages because those are like your typical strange message is something that I like, you know? Yeah. I mean, the only thing that I really dislike about messages, like if you send me hi or hello, whatever, I'm just probably going to ignore it because I don't really want to go back and forth. Hello, hi, how are you? I'm good. What's the weather? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Sometimes they're like bots and, you know, if you can't make it obvious that you're not a bot, then just get out of here. But the strangest messages that I have really ever received are really the over the top salesy where they follow up over and over and over again, or they're kind of like, and not like in a good way, you know, like it's clearly a template, you know? And some people will even like email you directly with those things when they could have just done this. And those I'm not too much bothered by. I'll just kind of like move on. But I'm trying to think. I swear there's got to be like a specific example in my head of the strangest message because there are some odd ones out there. But yeah, I just don't get a whole lot. I mean, honestly.
I have one good example of a very strange message that you received. You posted it online. It's the Reese's one.
Oh yeah.
Can you read this one? Can you read this? Can you read it out loud? I just loved it. It's hilarious.
Yeah, is it from Matt?
Yeah. It's the hungry guy.
He's awesome.
Yeah. Can you read it? Out loud.
Can I read it?
Yeah.
If I can find it.
Okay. I'm gonna search with you.
It shouldn't be too far back. Luckily, I got this handy dandy computer right beside me. Now I can just swing her on up. Yeah, it should be just a couple. Here it is. He says, "Greetings, Earthling Jacob. I come in pieces, Reese's Pieces, that is. What I'm trying to say is that I'm hungry. Never send a connection request when you're hankering for a blizzard. You're a cool coconut. I'd like to live in your shadow. Be my connection, please, with heartburn, Matt." And, you know, was awesome. And Matt's just like a really cool person. He's one of those people that needs to believe in himself more.
Yeah.
And like he's newer to connecting and things on LinkedIn, but he sent me some really awesome messages and just like of support, encouragement, thankfulness. And I'm glad to see that he's now posting more on LinkedIn and getting out there, because he's just like a really good writer and just a really, really good person,
Yeah, I loved it. I just loved it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I was thinking about this. Have you ever bought something because of a celebrity ad? Somebody was, wearing something, blah, blah, blah.
No, not really. I mean, majority of the things I buy are just, cheap things or things that I need, and then I Google. There's really not much, just ads in general that have really attracted me to buy them. But the only thing that comes to mind that ad related, like a commercial, for example, that got me to actually get the product. Oddly enough, it was a TV commercial, and it wasn't that long ago. Like it was like on Hulu, so it was and it was for its Chime. Chime, I think they're called a bank, Chime Bank. I don't know if they're actually technically a bank, they have like credit unions and banks. I don't really even remember the difference or whatnot, but they got me interested in it. And it actually turned out to be like a great product, because it's so simple to use. And I think they're maybe only in the US right now. And they're smaller kind of company, but I've continued to see them kind of take off. And it's kind of exciting because I got involved pretty quickly with them, and like just to see them continually take off and just continue to do better and better and better. Because sometimes you get something and they start to develop and do more, and then they start going downhill, Right. But Chime, I'll tell you, is just like a really, really cool company. I like the ad. I got it. I like the product. And I'll tell you, I don't know much about like international banking, so I don't know how experiences differ, but I imagine it'll be pretty similar. But you know how whenever you run out of money in your bank account, they charge you an overdraft fee?
Right.
Well, this bank, they don't. You have a certain amount that you can go over. So I can overdraft up to like $200 or something like that. And, once my paycheck goes in, it covers that, but they don't charge like an overdraft fee. But they do like give a prompt on their app, like, hey, we covered you this much with no fees. Would you like to send a, donation? I don't know if they call it a donation, but, would you like to, tip? I think it might be called a tip or whatever. Right. But sometimes I will, because I'll be like, they rightfully so could have charged me $25, $30, and which would have, you get that fee, and then you get charged by sometimes places that decline you. And they could have charged me that, but they didn't. And so sometimes I'm like, I want to see this help other people out too, that are, either in my similar situation or whatnot. So I might throw, $10 back to them and, get it done. And, they've had surveys and things where, I don't know if you have done surveys much, because most of the time you send back feedback and nothing really happens with it. You're like, oh, I would really like this feature, and nothing happens. Well, they've done that, and then I've answered and gave my opinions on what I would like. And I know it wasn't just me. I'm sure others voted the same way, but regardless, they got it done. They rolled out a new feature. I was like, oh, they're just continuing to crush it. But yeah, it wasn't really because of celebrity though.
Right.
I can't think of anything like really celebrity would really get me to buy. I think celebrities are talented and awesome and great, but I can't think of anything that I've actually bought because of one.
The reason I started thinking about this is that like you can have like an ad by a soccer player or something, and it's just the amount of money paid to make this ad given to the player is just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking like even if I love the player, I would never buy something because I saw it in an ad because he was wearing it or he was drinking it. Or so I was just thinking like, where does this idea come from that just because a celebrity is seen with this product at the same time, then somehow this should be impactful? And I was just thinking like, I was just curious about that.
Really, I think that I think this is just more of a me thing because, I mean, I don't really have money to buy much anyways, at this point in my life, but I think it does work for other people. It just doesn't work for me. So I think it's one of those things where I have maybe a differing view because of just who I am. But I think that it has had other people buy into it because, they kind of have that likability. And, if my favorite person in the world is going to endorse this company, then I'm going to go ahead and go for it, and it definitely can work. I think sometimes you think of, bigger name celebrities and things, but, if you think on a smaller scale of a celebrity, and maybe it's just someone like on LinkedIn, it could work. It could work. It has to really just be more of a right pairing. Sometimes you can tell, they just did the ad for sponsor money and things like that. And that's helpful for like companies. And I think that's a great part of, some of marketing, if they can, afford it. And, if they can see, okay, I can spend X amount of money on this person, and based off of past cases, we are gonna, triple our money in 1 year. Then it makes sense if you look at some of the numbers like that. But I think some of them are just bad pairings. But yeah, I think if you find someone who truly enjoys a certain product and, gives an actual review on it, I think really reviews are going to be a whole lot better than anything, than an ad, like a short review on it. But if you can really get someone to give some insights behind it on why they like it, I think that is going to be a better ad.
Anything. That's when you start thinking of something that's more kind of like you give reasons, the things then makes more sense to me. But the whole like perfume thing, I don't know. But I guess we should.
You have some, and some. I'm trying to think of a good example, but I'm just thinking like if someone is like, hey, I love Target. I don't know if you guys have. Do you guys have Target over there?
We don't, but I know of Target.
It's I never know where things are. It's, and really I should have known because they don't even have it in some of other places. But they got cool, just things inside. It's kind of like a Walmart, really. That's all it is. So, but if someone's like, hey, I really love Target, and you guys should shop there too. I'm now a sponsor with Target, and that was it. Like, I don't know anything about Target, but if you were like, they have these super cool bins at the front that are like under $5, and so there's some really good finds in there. Or if you're like, they have this home decor right next to, your comforter stuff, and it's very convenient to use. If they included some like prime benefits, like something in an interview review, I think that's going to be a better way. And I could see that being the way that that things go in the future. Who knows? I don't know. I use a lot of logic that, I may be wrong about too. But if I were to trial and error something, that's what I would want to do.
Right. Okay, so let's talk about ADHD. I want you to describe ADHD to me without using the word focus, without using the word distraction, without using the word scattered. Go ahead.
Squirrel.
Ooh, that's good.
That's the only thing I can think of, because I don't know, I can't think of any other better thing, because you get distracted, but it's I don't know, it's just like instant. You see squirrels running on the road and they just move around like, oh crap, like, and then they'll run back and forth, you know. We have tons of squirrels in our neighborhood, but that's, you know, the best way that I can really think of describing, which, you know, is why I have it in my headline. Just people enjoy it, you know. I get messages often about my headline whenever they'll connect.
Right. Have you, okay, can you tell us a bit of your journey with ADHD?
I mean, I've had it for like as long as I can really remember. You know, probably more so whenever I was, you know, in the teens. I don't know, maybe like 12 or something. But I don't know, I would just kind of was getting more so distracted to where I couldn't complete anything. And I think there's a lot more involved in ADHD than just, you know, the distractions and, you know, the whatnot. But yeah, that's all I can think of.
Right. Okay, so this question, actually, I was driving 2 days ago, and I've heard it on the radio, and I still didn't look it up, but okay, I'm just gonna ask you the question, and then we'll see what's your response. What is the word in English that is spelled backwards?
Oh man. It's a riddle. I don't know, because like the only thing I can think of is like race car, which is race car backwards. It's a palindrome. But if it's a riddle, oh man, I love riddles. I do. But the hard ones, they get you. Now, if I'm breaking down a traditional riddle and I'm reading the question as, what is a word in English that is spelled backwards? I'm almost looking at the word spell.
Now when you said it, maybe in English. Okay. English.
See, I'm looking at like spelled, and I'm like, oh, you don't know the answer of it yet?
I don't know the answer.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So whenever I'm looking at, all right, what is a word in English that is spelled backwards? So I'm looking at spelled, and I'm like, is that a word backwards? And I'm like, deleps. But I'm like, well, that's not right. That's that I'm looking at the words and I'm like spelling them backwards in my head, and I'm like,
I'm thinking of the word English itself. Maybe there is something, but I can't see anything in reverse. Sill, would that be a word? Or
yeah, see, you know, if it's a riddle, I feel like it's something in the question. You know, the answer is somehow related to in the question, because I can think of plenty of words that are spelled like the same forwards and backwards, but it didn't ask that. But what is a word in English that is spelled backwards? Okay, maybe there's a word inside of English.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
That it's spelled backwards.
Or
sill.
Word. HS. Sigh.
Yeah. That could be it. What is a word in English that is spelled backwards?
GNE. What is a word?
Now I need to know. What the question, what the answer is, you know?
Okay, do you want to check it out?
Want me to check it out? Yeah.
Okay. What is a word in English And backwards. Okay, I'm getting a lot of palindromes.
Yeah. Interesting. Where is it?
Is still words.
Oh man.
Okay, so there's a
Yeah, I'm can't find any.
There's an informal word called sil, which means a person's sister-in-law.
Yeah, we could go with that. Sounds right.
And then, but sil is not a valid Scrabble word. Okay, so or ill is ill a word?
I think ILL. I think it's double L.
Yeah, of course, but I mean, there's another ill is not in the Scrabble dictionary English. Sil. Silk. Okay. I'll walk you through my thought process. So I thought about this a lot. Good thing I didn't have a core accent. I was thinking like it might have something to do with silent letters because you want the first part of the word to act in a way that they usually don't act in. So if you have a letter that is silent, then I just couldn't find you know. Let me see.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Backwards words. Or the 10 backwards. 9 words created by spelling other words backwards. No, 19 words are the same.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a goofy one.
That's a what?
That's a goofy one. Yeah,
right.
I don't know. I feel like I'm missing something there.
9 words created by spelling other words. Okay. 90s black slang was the name of. I'll have to dig. That would be an example of something you looked for but you couldn't find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the answer to a riddle. That's a good example of something, Googling that you can't find some, a riddle like that, because even if you put riddle in front of it, it's not searching for different riddles. And
I'll try to get to the bottom of this once when we're done. This is the hill I'm gonna die on. Okay. So no answer. Let's go to the hidden question.
Yeah, it's C. It's SI. It's C. It's because it's what is a word in English that is spelled backwards. Because, oh no, I'm thinking of it. opposite now. I was focused on the word is, and I was like, well, see is backwards of is. I don't know. Thought I was something there.
What is a word in English that is spelled C-S-I is S-I word? Yes, there is a word definition. The meaning of.
Oh, you know what though? C could definitely be the answer because
yes.
Even though it's not, because it's a Spanish word for yes.
No, it's a Slavic word. You got it. Oh my goodness.
Nice.
Oh my goodness. Yes, S-I, that's correct. Oh, yeah, I love this.
Because I'm like, because if you, so whenever you're reading this question, you're like, what is a word in English that is spelled backwards? Your first thought is to think of, all right, all English words, no other words.
Right.
And so, but then whenever you read the word as, what is a word inside of the word English that is spelled backwards, then the word doesn't even need to be in English. So C would still also be an acceptable answer as like, the Spanish word for yes. So even though it's not in English, it still works that way too.
Right. But also I think the dictionary has the word SI for another, that has another meaning, which is it's something related to music. So let's see the Merriam-Webster definition. C, symbol for silicon. I think it's
another term for T, which is the seventh note in a major scale scale.
Right.
So it's like Fola C top.
Right.
Fola C da. I can't even think of it now, but
yeah.
Do re mi fo sol. Yeah.
Okay, this is good. I love this.
Oh.
I think for this week I accomplished all my tasks. In fact, for this year, I'm just happy with this achievement. I mean,
anything else is a bonus.
Oh my goodness. This is a happy day, happy minute, happy everything. Thank you, Jacob.
Yeah.
Teamwork right here. Teamwork.
Got it.
Okay. Woo! I mean, thank goodness that if I didn't know the answer and then I could spend like 3 hours on the internet just looking
right.
at it. Right.
I know, right?
I mean, you don't understand the amount of time and effort and angst that you saved. Okay, let's head to the hidden questions. Okay, so I'm gonna show you a bunch of pictures, and I want you to just see whatever word comes to mind when I show you the picture, okay?
Right.
This is totally aimless, so don't expect like a super duper explanation at the end. Just playing around. Okay, so let me share the screen.
All right.
Stock images. Okay. Can you see that?
I see it. All right. What was the question?
Just the first. Whatever word comes to your mind when you see this image.
Detective.
Detective. Okay.
Brain.
Okay.
Diamond.
Okay.
Light bulb hands.
Okay.
Particles.
Okay.
Word vomit.
Word vomit, that's good.
Naughty.
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm impressed. Okay, let's do this again, but give me another word other than the one they used.
Oh man. Silly.
Okay.
Colorful.
Okay.
I don't know if it's just one word, because I was thinking like split into things.
Split into, okay. Split into, okay.
Split.
Split, okay.
I mean, the next thing that popped into my mind earlier was just like a really weird corporate meeting, because I'm not really sure exactly what's going on here. And I can just only imagine making this picture. Put your hands in, grab a light bulb. I don't know. I mean, I would have to go with like a corporate. Like I just see suits, corporate, after I see light bulbs.
I'm gonna say corporate cults.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
Treasure.
Did we do this the first time?
I think we missed this one the first time.
Right. Give me another word other than treasure.
Fishies.
Fishies. That's good.
And that big old ball. Big ball. Big ball.
Big ball. Okay.
I don't know. I like see, ooh, there's a big ball. I don't know here. Like I was just going with an open mouth.
Open mouth, okay. And
then just abstract.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, you're waiting now for an explanation. There isn't.
You're like, I don't know.
Meaningless.
You're
okay,
like, I'm gonna figure it out though.
Right. So I'm gonna show another picture. I just want to tell. Let's just create a backstory for these pictures. Just pick one of those pictures. Just a sec. I'm go with,
which picture?
Okay. Yes. Let's go to the heart. What is happening? Am I not in the... Okay. Account. Downloads, I think, was it? Just a sec.
All good.
Profile. Collections. Oh, okay, right. Here it is. Okay, pick one of those pictures.
Oh, that book person, right?
This?
There. Yeah. I don't know why.
So, what could be the backstory for this?
I don't know why I picked this. I should have been thinking of a story, but I was still on gut reaction. I was like, all right, let's go. Okay. You know, whenever I don't know how I would describe it in a story, but like what I'm seeing is a lady opening a giant refrigerator right now. Okay. I don't know if it's because I'm hungry, but that's all I can think is.
But you do see it's a book. I mean,
I do see it's a book.
Maybe
Definitely
it's not
see
a book.
It's a book.
Maybe it's not a book.
Maybe it's a fridge.
Right. Okay. That is cool. Why do you think you were, attracted to this? Okay, let's not use the word attracted. Why drawn to this picture?
Because whenever you were like towards the top, I feel like it stood out the most because of, you know, like the pictures. Like the more I looked, the more I liked the picture kind of like above it was very interesting. But that one, for whatever reason, I think maybe it's just because like it has that light appealing, you know, attraction, you know, where, you know, you're opening something up and light's shining on you or whatnot.
Right.
I don't know. Something drew my eyes to that one first.
Okay. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, stop sharing. So the next question is, what are you thinking about right now?
Food. I
What?
could eat.
Okay.
You know,
what would you
I
eat?
lean towards pizza. You know, I know realistically, like right now, I'm not gonna eat pizza. I probably won't eat pizza at all today. Because one, I don't want to make the cheap pizzas at home. And then for two, I can't afford the more expensive pizzas.
Right.
So for whatever reason, my mind's drawn to pizza though, because that sounds pretty delicious.
It
At
does.
really any given moment, you know, especially on like a Saturday. I don't know. Saturday is like a solid pizza day, you know?
Right. I'm actually very motivated to eat pizza after this conversation.
I would highly recommend it. You know,
Right.
if you can, definitely do it. I mean, now I'm probably gonna do it because it's Saturday. I mean,
You
I
have to
could eat
have pizza
pizza.
on a Saturday.
You have to.
Right. Hats off to the Italians. I mean, good invention. Good invention. Thank you very much.
They nailed it.
Right. Okay. Explain your work without using any words on your job description, in your profile.
Oh, that's fun. I don't remember what I have in my job descriptions.
Okay,
and
try not to use, okay, it's like the tell me what you do without telling me what you do type thing.
Okay, just in general. Because I mean, so here's my situation. So I work my 9 to 5 corporate job, whatever, you know. It's a cool company. I'm grateful for them or whatnot, but I'm kind of moving on to my own freelancing type thing. So do you think, should I just describe in general, like, for, you know, my...
But there has to be like, you know, I have to guess. Okay, this is excellent because I don't know what you're gonna do. I have to guess what you're doing.
You have to guess what I do, and so I should describe it in a way that
maybe... in a vague way, but give me some hints so that I can guess it and think of myself as a smart person.
All right, let me think for 1 second here.
Take your time.
I help you bring enjoyment to the internet world that fills your pocket with cash. I don't know why though, but I kind of like that.
Content creation coach?
Something like that.
Content. Okay, are you?
Did I tell you?
You didn't.
Because it's kind of like I think you might. I'll tell you if you guess like half of it.
Okay, so are you targeting individuals or businesses, or not, or either?
Yes.
Or? Both?
Yes.
Okay. It has to be creating. Is the creating content? You do the brains. Okay. I'm gonna say there is brainstorming to it.
There's brainstorming involved for sure.
Okay, and it has to do with content creation.
Yes, that's involved.
Okay, content creation. The question then is, what do you do? So, do you create the content, or does the client create the content? So I'm gonna say, what should I say? So you take on. Give me a sec. Yeah, I'm gonna say that you're gonna work with clients to create content, so you are responsible for content creation, maybe a bit of stuff. I'm gonna say you're not. Yeah, I'm gonna.
I think you pretty much nailed it there.
Yeah,
I think you're pretty much right there. Yeah, because
okay.
you know, it's a variety of different things on based off of, you know, needs and wants and everything. But, you know, basically social media marketing, you know, ghostwriting, content creator, dude. You know,
Okay.
so if someone needs someone to help with their social media marketing, you know, and getting things put out there on, you know, the different platforms, I can help produce that, create the copywriting. If they have their own, if they already have like a graphic designer and, you know, already want to have material they want to use, cool. You know, if they have ideas that they just want better cleaned up, you know, for presentation, then I can do that. So, but, you know, my ideal person would be someone that's like, all right, I have all these ideas, I just don't know what to do with them, you know?
Right.
You know, and even with ideas, I can help with ideas, but the thing you can't ever do is I can't be you. I can't be someone else. But hey, if you know, I can read everything I want about your business or whatnot. You know, I can find lots of things out. You know, give me a slight you know, guidance, and I can run with it. You know, I'll tell you my thoughts, give you my opinions. You know, there's going to be a lot of trial and error involved in it, but you know, if you want to produce some quality content out there to get your name out there, then, you know, that's where I come in.
Right. Well, good luck. When will you officially announce the shop is open?
You know, it should be soon. I mentioned it, you know, in passing very few times because I'm just not a business post type person.
Right.
And I haven't added it to my profile necessarily yet, because I'm already working with a couple people already. And they got to me before I had added anything about it.
Right.
So the hardest thing for me now is whenever you work like a 9-to-5 job and trying to do something on the side, you know, you're setting different priorities, and then you're always getting to certain different things. So you know, I still need to build up official things. 5
kids or something?
3. So plenty enough. It's about the same.
Right.
They definitely keep busy.
They're a handful.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So let's.
But it'll be soon. Once I can get my, I have a little bit of, I'm, you know, kind of like a perfectionist, not necessarily, but I do a lot of overthinking, you know, that delays things. So, you know, and I always want to put out my best, you know, I don't want to just throw myself out there and be like, just winging it, you know?
Right.
So I have a few things I need to better get lined up, and then, yeah, should be more of an announcement type of thing soon.
Right. Okay, good luck with that, Jacob.
Thank you.
Let's play 1 minute for the association game, and then 1 minute for the unassociation game. And then I'll let you ask me a question. So let's play the association game first. So just the regular association game. I say a word, you say a word, and then for 1 minute. Sounds good?
All right.
Chicken.
Pie.
Cross.
Math. Did you say class? You said class, right?
Cross.
Oh, cross. I don't know. I don't know why I was going. Well, then I would say Jesus.
My friend says this word. Behijis. Heebie-jeebies. Okay.
Yeah. Goosebumps.
Mammoth.
Elephant.
Red.
Doctor.
Schneider.
Jelly.
Fish.
Water.
Ozone.
Layer.
Okay, we're done.
Did I do it?
There's no.
Or did I fail? Did I fail?
There's no losing. I failed with behe. What was it again?
Heebie-jeebies?
Heebie-jeebies. Heebie-jeebies.
Yeah.
Claire, thank you, Claire, for this word. I'm gonna remember it. Heebie-jeebies. Okay. The second. Okay, so Claire actually taught me the second game, which is you're supposed to say anything that's not on your mind. Okay, okay, let me think of how to play. Oh yeah, you have to say anything that's not related to the word I see. So if I say lemon, you can't say onion.
Gotcha.
Okay, let's do it. Okay, let's start. Clock.
Feet.
Mariola.
Shoes.
Augustine.
Say that one more time.
Augustine. Augustine.
Augustine. I gotcha. Chicken. I feel like I'm just gonna keep going back to food.
You're really hungry.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening. I was like, all right, let me just I'm really trying to listen to the word and actually not just think about food,
Right,
but then I'm like, all right, Augustine, what's not Augustine? Snacks.
Right. Toronto.
Well, crap. Beach.
Violent.
Crap. Fridge. I swear, you said violence, and I thought knife. I'm like, not knife in a kitchen. Fridge. Oh crap.
I actually said violin.
Oh, violin.
Yeah, right.
Oh well, fridge isn't a violin either.
Right. So, yeah. It's how did you find it? I don't know. I just love this word, this game for some reason.
Yeah,
it's fun. For me, it's fun. Thank you, Claire. I'm not sure if Jacob appreciates the game as much as I do.
Do it again.
Right.
Do another one.
Do you want to do it again?
Yeah, do it.
Yeah,
do it again.
Let's do it again. Okay.
And then, do you have to think of a word that's not associated with my word?
Yeah, I was doing the same thing. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Cool.
Yeah. How about you start?
I'm gonna go with hairbrush.
Punch.
Laptop.
Kaiser.
Sunshine.
Robots.
Lemons.
Philemon. Philemon. Oh god, yeah.
Wooden spoon.
Farcical.
Say that one more time.
Farcical.
I don't know what that is.
I think from the word farce, I think that's a word.
Like tree, related to trees and all that?
No. Like relating absurd, something absurd. Farcical.
Oh, see, I don't know those big words.
Right. Yeah.
Then I might have to go with spaghetti. Dang it. You want me to tell you my train of thought? Because I was thinking, I don't know.
Swimming pool.
Liver.
Academy.
Football.
Eureka.
Car.
Fandom.
Recliner.
Levitate.
Roly-poly.
Cherry blossom.
Wires.
Finicky.
Frog.
Ribosome.
Hercules.
Cyclone.
Nest.
Fidgety.
Nesquik.
You're really hungry. You are really hungry.
Yeah, I know. It went straight there. I don't know.
Right. Okay, so let's end it here because you really need to eat. But before,
right. I don't know what happened. I was trying I was thinking I was trying harder not to talk about food.
Right. But before we do that, so you got to ask me a question.
But that's fun though. Let me tell you, because you said that abstract word or whatnot, the obscure, finicky or farcical, whatever.
Yeah,
I'm never gonna get that.
Let's talk about how was the experience.
It was good, because whenever you think that, you're like, all right, obscure. So then I think of, okay, the opposite of obscure. I was going with like a straight line. Whenever I saw a straight line, I was thinking of spaghetti. So that's where I went with spaghetti. I was like, straight line spaghetti. It just turned into spaghetti in my brain.
Right.
I was like, oh crap, no food.
Yeah, it is a fun game. All right, so go ahead, ask me a question.
What is your number one goal in life?
Going for the deep ones.
Yeah,
I think number one goal, I would say, this feels a bit strange because when I say it, if I say it, it doesn't seem to kind of match with what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So
you can have more. Let's say you can have multiple number one goals. What's one of your,
Okay, so I'm gonna say the reason. Okay. So I wanted to say to reduce the amount of pain in the world, but the reason I'm kind of like, I'm not actually doing anything very relevant to this right now. So it's a question that is bringing me some sort of an identity crisis. We're right now experiencing an identity crisis.
There's so many things that you can also do. So I think maybe a better rephrase of the question is, what's the number one goal for you in your life? Maybe a selfish goal, what's one selfish goal in your life that you'd love to see accomplished? Because there's so much, that we could really say about the world and what we want to see for our future and our family and everything. But if you're thinking about, yourself and, maybe even selfishly, and thinking of, all right, what's my number one mission goal? And I could, I said life, but, I don't know, you could even say, this year or next year or in the next 5 years, 10 years, but
right.
You never know when life's going to end. So,
Right. Yeah, so one kind of very straightforward would be, but this wouldn't be number one, but straightforward would to learn SEO. That's one thing I want to do. Another goal would be to build a second brain. There's this concept of building a second brain, which is, you know, how to deal with taking notes. And because I always have this idea of this kind of like, okay, I'll show you. I have a lot of notes everywhere, all over the place. So I feel, you know, if you are pursuing like an intellectual life, being able to process notes and is like such a strong tool. So one would be to be able to kind of build a system for myself where I'm able to kind of draw upon the different bits and pieces of knowledge and information and kind of combine them. So one would be, I bought this remarkable pad thingy. This will help me. And there are kind of tools now called called network thinking tools, things like Obsidian and Rome Research, where they help you kind of like build your own knowledge structure. So this is something that I want to get into. It will take a lot of investment in terms of time and effort thing. But I think once I've established that, the ROI, the return on investment, would be quite amazing.
Yeah, I think that's cool. Yeah, it's just, you know, both of those things related to learning. Like you're always just learning, you know, about things, programs, people. You're always just kind of learning about, you know, all kinds of different things, which is the cool part about, you know, LinkedIn, because I mean, I enjoy having fun and things, but I also do really enjoy, you know, learning different things from people.
I mean, learning is fun. This is the idea for me.
You know,
learning is fun.
Yeah. I love it. And yeah, I think, learning about different people too is really cool. It has been like one of the coolest experiences too, is just, you know, like we're on opposite sides of the world right now and communicating and just learning from different backgrounds that people have and kind of opening your eyes to the world that's out there that isn't represented by the news, you know?
Yeah. Right. Right.
Yeah.
All righty. Jacob, it was a pleasure talking to you. It was fun.
Yes, thank you for having me.
And looking forward to your next pursuits in content creation with your freelancing project.
I'll be around, that's for sure.
And yeah, hopefully you can be in touch.
Definitely, yeah. And, you know, enjoy some pizza, right?
Right, yeah, we'll definitely do that. So I'm gonna stop the recording and